Sasha Banks and Naomi walked out of WWE RAW as WWE calls them out for their unprofessionalism. Hikaru Shida taken out of the Owen Hart Tournament due to injury, but she says she's not injured. Ronda Rousey brings back her open challenge night facing Raquel Rodriguez. Natalya, the fairy godmother of NXT, gifts Cora Jade match of her lifetime, and huge Impact Wrestling Knockouts Championship Queen of Mountain match announced. Welcome everyone to Ring the Bell, this is DS and this is the return of weekly women's wrestling review. And yes, it was supposed to go out yesterday, but we all know what happened. The emergency news and rumor episode with Phil Lindsay came out 4 a.m. So please go check out to see everything you want to know about Naomi Sasha Banks walking out of WWE situation. But let's start with Raw. Now that I had some time to think about it, illuminate on it, I can confidently say that I have no idea what's going on. Like, nothing makes sense. To recap what happened, WWE announced early in the show the six-pack challenge for the number one contendership match, but then soon after, with Becky Lynch and Adam Pearce segment, they announced that the match was turned into a singles match between Asuka and Becky Lynch. They then had Corey Graves shade Naomi and Sasha Banks for being unprofessional on TV.
Sasha Banks and Naomi summarily and unprofessionally left the arena.
And they released a press release detailing how Naomi and Sasha left Raw taping. The press release part especially was really unprecedented, given that WWE never liked to pull the curtain, especially for this type of blunder. That said, things just don't add up for me. With more information coming out outside of WWE's official statement, we talked about it mostly on our news and rumor episode. But the newest addition to that story is that Sasha and Naomi left the building around noon, which means that WWE only advertised a six-pack challenge to manipulate the narrative and blame Sasha and Naomi for their unprofessionalism when they had more than enough time to rewrite the whole show. And I know that a lot of people still think that this is all work, mostly because how weird this whole situation is. First of all, the fact that Naomi was supposed to win the match and go against Bianca Belair at Hell in a Cell, I'll be honest, I think that match would have slapped. I mean, it's one of my dream matches for sure, but if you think about it, it's downright random because Bianca was already getting involved with Becky and Asuka on Raw. Also, the fact that WWE social media, WWE.com, and even Corey Graves on the commentary mentioned this unprofessionalism is again unheard of. But add to that, Becky Lynch in character mentioning them leaving.
I just saw Naomi and Sasha take their bags and leave.
It's just really bizarre all around. So yes, it seems like from multiple sources it is confirmed that this is in fact real life situation, but if some of you guys still want to believe that this is work, I can't blame you because that seems like a scenario that will give all of us most mental peace at this point. Like, this news gave me so much stress. But let's talk about the show. The main event, Asuka versus Becky Lynch match, was actually really fun given that these two are two of the most talented wrestlers they have in WWE, and they've also been working together lately on live shows. So what I did like, I love that Asuka brought a lot of fresh moves. I also loved the last sequence where Becky throws Asuka into Bianca and using that distraction to grab Asuka's umbrella to attack her only to be green misted. That whole ending sequence was truly great, but ultimately I think the whole news of Naomi and Sasha made everyone really difficult to focus on this match, so I'll ultimately have to give this match an A.
Good, not bad.
My girl Liv Morgan is living my dreams, so as she was being interviewed about being attacked by Rhea Ripley in the Judgment Day, Humberto and Angel Garza said they would comfort her and try to kiss her. And then AJ and Finn Balor come over to say, join them. Girl, if I were her, I'd say yes even before the question ended. Even before Finn Balor's lips moved, I would say, sir, yes, I will do it. Yes, I'm sorry, yes, I will do it, sir. But no, Liv is a class act, so she didn't say yes right away. And then we saw a segment from the Judgment Day where Rhea says it's time for total and utter eradication. Three of them look like they're in some like kinky cult together, and yes, I will run away from them instantly, but I will hide behind the tree and watch them because I live, they're so hot. Lacey Evans came out for what seems like a motivational speech segment. She was like, we can all wake up, work, and win. A triple W, which every motivational speaker loved doing. Remember the 3 W's for success. I mean, I don't think this segment is a proper way of gauging if her rebranding is going well or not, because who wouldn't cheer if you're asked to cheer for the men and women serving in the military? Like, you have to cheer. So I'm curious how she will do when she actually gets in the ring. On the other hand, because she was so colorful as a nasty lady character, I feel like this is some washed off version of who she was before, but we shall see. Let's move to Alexa Bliss versus Sonya Deville. Alexa debuts a new rock version of her theme song, and god damn it, I think Ryan Cabrera, her husband, got to her and took our iconic dubstep theme song away. I'm so mad about it. Last week we saw Alexa Bliss do a surprise return to defeat Sonya Deville, and Sonya was stripped of her official duties. This week we got a longer match where Sonya was able to get more offense in, but Alexa eventually picks up the win with the punch and Bliss did a T. While last week's match got me super hyped up about Alexa, in fact I think I've never been this hyped about Alexa since maybe her initial SmackDown run or her cute tag team storyline with Nikki Cross. But this match was written more for Sonya Deville breaking down furthermore, even slapping the referee in the match, which we may see some repercussions from. We then saw Carmella return to 24/7 division. Welcome back, Carmella! So R-Truth serves divorce paper to Tozawa successfully for Tamina, and while talking to Dana Brooke, he turns into a little golem, thirsting over the title and starts chasing Dana. Dana then bumps into Carmella, which starts the verbal fight, which got pretty shady. I love that Dana was like the last time you were relevant was when you were with that chinless guy, and then Dana also went really hard on Corey Graves. Like, damn! I mean, Corey really deserves this after all the shit talking he did on Dana. Anyway, it seems like Carmella will be reuniting with R-Truth to hunt down Dana Brooke's 24/7 championship. Alright, let's move to NXT, and this is last week's NXT because of this whole news and rumor episode messing up my schedule. But there were so much women's action segments to a point I thought the entire show was dedicated to women. So we start with the NXT Women's Tag Team Championship match, Toxic Attraction versus Roxanne Perez and Wendy Chu. The most impressive in this match was Roxanne, as she shows her signature clean and concise wrestling style that we've seen from her Roxy days. But at the end, we went back to that tiring Toxic Attraction template style, where Mandy's distraction costing Wendy and Roxanne's match, and JC hits a huge super kick on Roxanne for the win. I think the match was fine, and it did well to build the newcomer Roxanne, but I can already tell that they're building up to be the main star of NXT, like how Cora Jade was built. It was great.
Good, not bad.
Toxic Attraction then decides to harass Indy Hartwell, making fun of how she lost her man because Dexter Lumis got released by WWE. Way too soon, sis. I'm not ready to let my kinky man go away yet. But also, what the heck happened to Persia Pirotta? We also saw a Ivy Isle exercise challenge throughout the night. She does push-ups, burpees, and lunges and outlasts all the men. Another great example of great character building in NXT 2.0. Singles match, Alba Fire, formerly known as Kaylee Ray versus Amari Miller. You know I love Amari, and I hate to see her being used as a jobber. But one thing NXT is doing great is character building, and I did appreciate that they showed how Lash Legend took Amari out of action for a month, so her motivation in this match is to show that she's back and she's here to prove herself. But let's talk about Alba Fire. I hate these name changes in general, but I do like that they took this opportunity as a reset for Alba. I always acknowledged that Kaylee Ray was a great worker, but I wasn't fully on board with her character necessarily, and I think this fiery, arsonist gimmick kind of goes really well with her explosive wrestling style and her looks, so I will take this as a welcome change. And unfortunately for Amari, this was Alba Fire's match to shine, and she sure did, finishing Amari in 4 minutes with the firebomb and a huge senton. I'll say strategy. This episode of NXT also started Women's Breakout Tournament. I just want to preface this though, I did not go into this tournament expecting Mae Young Classic quality. Not only are they not getting the same time and treatment that Mae Young Classic did, this really is a breakout tournament, as in we're not bringing the most talented indie wrestlers around the world to compete, but we're actually bringing in developing stars of Performance Center, so the standard is unfortunately a bit different. And yes, WWE has sailed far away from the days of Mae Young Classic. Here we saw 2 matches in the tournament, starting with the Fallon Henley versus Sloane Jacobs. Fallon reminded me of Mickie James, Audrey Marie, and Nydia vibe, and when she first debuted, I really thought she'd be just a jobber, but it's great to see her connect with the fans and slowly getting more and more character. Sloane Jacob is the youngest participant of the tournament. She's 19. I don't remember much about her moves, unfortunately, but I think she did good work. The match ended when Brooke Jensen and Josh Briggs come in to cheer for Fallon, and Fallon hits a huge clothesline and running knee to win the match in 4 minutes. The match was fine, but mostly not memorable. I'll say it was good.
Good, not bad. bad.
Next is Nikita Lyons versus Ariana Grace. They didn't say this on the show, but Ariana is Santina Morella's daughter, which makes her Santina the Miss WrestleMania's niece. Ariana is here packaged as a beauty pageant winner who has martial arts background. I don't necessarily believe that this will be a gimmick that she'll be sticking with long term, but I think it's a good start as she was surprisingly able to get in many offense to Nikita. But as expected, this match went to Nikita Lyons, who is the biggest and brightest, the most voluptuous star of NXT. In 3 minutes, we see Nikita finish Ariana with the split splash, which apparently she wanted to name Yam Slam. I don't know about that. But another quick match, but I think this was a lot more enjoyable. I'll say I'm stressed. We then saw a mixed tag match, Tiffany Stratton and Grayson Waller versus Andre Chase and Saray. Tiffany and Grayson with matching pink outfit. I screamed so hard, but then I screamed even harder when Saray's transformation entrance turned Andre's sweater blue and Bodhi Hagward's outfit into a schoolgirl outfit. I love it! This was a really fun match with that double alphabet stomping was so cute, and Saray generally looked like she found her grooves back again. Tiffany has also massively improved, amazing twisting Vader bomb and that dive to outside, but as Tiffany comes back from the dive, Saray rolls her up for the win in 10-minute match. I love the action, I love the characters, and I love the gimmick. I'm so stressed. Main event time, we saw Natalya versus Cora Jade, and when the fairy godmother Natalya comes out to NXT, we know what that means. She will be gifting one lucky NXT girl with the most magical night of her early career. Cinderella back in 2014 was Charlotte Flair, and 2022 it's Cora Jade. It's obvious WWE wants to push Cora as one of the main stars of NXT, but let's be honest, her performances have been very hit or miss. This match, however, Natty was in there to make sure Cora succeeds, and this match sure was magical. You can tell that Natty was there to make Cora shine, so Cora was hitting majority of the offense into Natty. And yes, at some points it looked like Natty was breaking her back to carry Cora and get this match going, but ultimately I think the thrilling action and the amazing storytelling won the crowd over massively. I love that Cora brought back the element from her Raquel Gonzalez match where she never stopped fighting, but brought it back onto the next level where she did not tap out to sharpshooter, but just passed out to lose the match. That was such a great character moment. And getting that ultimate respect from the legend Natalya, where she helps Cora up, giving her the hug to end the show, puts tons of credibility onto this rookie superstar. I love this match, I love my queen Natalya, I am stressed by it. I do have to point out though, how does it work to pass out from a leg submission? I mean, I get it if it's like Shayna or Asuka submission, but a leg submission? Okay, let's go to AEW Dynamite. We saw Owen Hart Foundation Tournament semi-finals match, Toni Storm versus Jamie Hayter. I gotta say, both Toni and Jamie, when they walked out, looked like a freaking star, especially Jamie here. I'm just so sad that her booking's been so terrible. She's nothing more than Britt Baker's helper and not a particularly good one at that. And yes, Toni and Jamie built their rivalry since Toni joined AEW, but was that really a build? The great thing about tournaments though is that you really don't need a storyline to have a good tournament. So how was the action then? The action was intense, very physical, nice reversal. Back-to-back tornado DDT from Toni Storm was a highlight of this match. However, there wasn't necessarily a storyline that carried throughout the match, and it was more of an exchange of cool moves after moves. So when the ending happened with that almost botched Storm Zero, it was like, oh, it ended. I don't know if it was a pacing issue. I really wanted to love this match, but I think Martha Hart looking so bored says it all. I'll say this match was good, but not great.
Good, not bad.
And this is for both Toni and Ruby. Both of them came into AEW with tons of hype and chatter. Unfortunately, we are learning that I quit WWE and came to AEW hype does not last long in AEW because AEW fans see someone coming from WWE every other week, which means Toni needs to deliver a classic in this tournament to solidify her standing in AEW Women's Division unless she wants to be drafted to AEW Dark. So I'm desperately waiting for her next match to do that for her, but I'm also worried that this tournament already has many people trying to prove themselves, including Toni, Ruby, and the Joker, who I'm sure is a big name. They will need a good start, maybe by even winning the tournament. Impact Wrestling time. We start the show with Impact's Knockout Tag Team Championship match, The Influence versus the unlikely team of Alicia Edwards and Giselle Shaw. This match was a typical Influence match where they do their classic heel things to win the match. Madison and Tenille are masterful in telling that heel story, cutting the ring in half, cheating, taunting, going for the weaker half. But girl, Madison and Tennille love staying safe with the action, to a point it's really boring me. Even the ending sequence, the influence could have done a lot more than just a forearm and a throw. Sure, it did the job, but it's just not exciting. I'll cut some slack given that this is a weekly show, but they better bring their A game to the big pay-per-view. On the other hand, I think Giselle Shaw really impressed being the star of the match, and her flashy move really worked well, especially during that hot tag. Also, I really enjoyed the dynamic between Giselle and Lisa, and I think this is just the start of their journey towards the goal. Their friendship is still at odds and kind of rocky, and I'm sure we'll see them start developing this relationship. Anyways, I'll give this match a May.
Good. Not bad.
Next, my sister and the general manager of Impact Wrestling, Gail Kim, comes out to announce that Impact Wrestling is celebrating 20th anniversary at Slammiversary. And with that, she announced the first ever Queen of Mountain match with Tasha Steelz, Chelsea Green, Jordynne Grace, Deonna Purrazzo, and the fifth person for Gail to announce. By the way, I had no idea what Queen of the Mountain match was, so I had to Google it. And to be honest, I'm still kind of confused after reading about it, but it's like a reverse ladder match in a sense that you have to bring the belt, climb up the ladder, and hang up the title to win the match. Yeah, kind of a weird concept. On top of that, you need to be first eligible to even win the rights to hang up the title. So first you have to pin or submit someone to get that right. Once you get the right, you have the right to get the belt from the referee and then start the hanging process using the ladder. Again, kind of confusing, almost too confusing for wrestling, but I'm sure it will all make sense when the match is actually going on. Anyway, back to the segment. Knockouts champion Tasha Steelz comes in to interrupt Gail, trying to put her bodyguard Savannah Evans in the match as a fifth competitor. Gail, however, says everyone in the match will be the formal Knockouts champion and announce Mia Yim as the final competitor of this match. Tasha then loses her shit, saying that she thinks Gail has something against her for defeating her best friend Mickie James and tries to attack Gail. But Mia comes in for a save, then Deonna comes out to attack Mia, where we get the 3-on-1 beatdown until Jordan and Taya comes out to even the odds. I actually love this segment. Whenever Gail comes in to announce matches and interact with wrestlers, I think it really makes everything special, and I think all the women that's in this match really makes this title match a must watch. Jumping into AEW Rampage, we saw Ruby Soho versus Riho for the semi-final of the Owen Hart Foundation tournament. I love whenever I see Riho on my screen. I think she improved so much, especially making her moves look actually threatening, and she brought that huge threat to Ruby in this match, being both resilient and super fast with the comeback. This match again didn't necessarily tell a story like Toni Jamie match, but I did really enjoy this match because of the sheer chemistry between the two. The match flowed so well and it actually just never stopped, and it was full of surprises. To a point, I think this might be one of my favorite Ruby matches in AEW. Both Riho and Ruby have great facial expressions too to amplify their emotion, also helping making this match super enjoyable. Yeah, I really like that match, and I wonder if this tournament is a turn for Ruby to finally shine. But again, there's also a lot of thirsty women in AEW trying to prove themselves, so hopefully as we get closer to the finish line, we can get more of these fun matches. Oh, and I love that Ruby added another finisher to the Riot Kick, using that to defeat Riho, advancing to the next round of the tournament. Loved it and very stressed. Next is my new favorite stable, the Baddies, with the Jade Cargill, Red Velvet, and Kiera Hogan. They're so fabulous together that entrance really does it for me. Kiera and Red Velvet are two incredible performers that I was really worried where they could stand in AEW, and I think AEW found the perfect roles for them. So in this segment, they announced that Hikaru Shida is injured because of Serena Deeb's attack, which there was a whole drama because Shida later revealed on social media that she's actually not injured. I mean, compared to the whole Naomi Sasha drama, I think this is really nothing, but my understanding is that she asked for some time off to wrestle some big events in Japan, and to give her this time off, AEW wrote her off TV with an injury angle, but that ultimately didn't make sense because she will be wrestling in Japan, so it's just a cute miscommunication that I'm sure they sorted things out. But anyway, instead of Shida versus Red Velvet for the tournament, it was announced that Red will be instead facing her former friend Chris Statlander, who is not a friendly next-door alien anymore, but a cool blue-haired human. She comes out for a face-off, and I cannot wait to see the Baddies in action. I think they can be as shady as Beautiful People were back in the days with the whole interference and taunts. I'm ready for it. SmackDown time. We start out with the new SmackDown Women's Champion Ronda Rousey, who came in with all the smile, ready for another promo time. I just want to know who in the creative team is keep handing Ronda a mic. I need need to tell Ronda to find a person because that person has personal vendetta against you, Ronda. She's trying to sabotage you! But to be honest, this promo was rather short, so it was pretty fine. Here, Ronda brought back the post-pay-per-view open challenge thing she used to do as a Raw Women's Champion years ago, and I personally really enjoyed that gimmick, so I'm glad that she brought it back. And here, Raquel Rodriguez came out to challenge, quote, Ronda the Legend. She said that. I didn't say that. This match, we saw Raquel overpowering Ronda Rousey. The follow-away slams were mighty impressive. I loved the huge super kick too. The match reminded me a lot of Ronda's matches with Nia Jax, which were very enjoyable. I think Ronda's style benefited a lot from fighting someone that's physically more massive than her. This match with all the back and forth and the reversals were really fun. Not only did this match make me feel like Ronda might be finally back in her element, but because of her recent vulnerabilities in her character, it adds that unpredictability that Ronda may actually lose sometimes. So in this match, I actually thought Raquel might be taking a win for a second. Both Ronda and Raquel looked really great in this match, and after the match was over, they shook hands to show mutual respect. I was stressed. My favorite though. Backstage, we see Shotzi and Aaliyah fight over who's going to job to Ronda next. This segment was kind of cute, to be honest. Shotzi said Raquel pushed her out of the way on her way to Gorilla, and Aaliyah said Shotzi locked her in the locker room. And I love Shotzi's comeback saying,
"If you don't know how the door works, that's not my problem."
And now I kind of wish we saw the whole madness of them trying to come out to Ronda's challenge. On SmackDown, we also saw Women's Tag Team Championship match Natalya and Shayna Baszler versus Sasha Banks and Naomi. Damn, reviewing this is interesting now that we know what happened over Monday Night Raw. I guess the problem really starts from the fact that this match wasn't on WrestleMania Backlash, the pay-per-view, but somehow ended up in a weekly show. They also didn't exactly get the storyline to build this match. However, the match itself was really fun. This was a fast-paced, action-packed match with full of fun spots. Actually, so many fun spots to highlight, but I have to mention that one spot where Sasha and Naomi sets Natalya up for the tag finisher, but Natalya breaks free and hits a huge discus clothesline. I guess really hard. At the end, sharpshooter attempt on Naomi, but is countered into a small package for Naomi to pick up a win in 8 minutes. Again, this is a testament to how Naomi and Sasha Banks are almost forcing the tag division to matter in WWE and to the fans with their pure athleticism and talent, even without WWE's storyline or good booking. We unfortunately don't know the future of Tag Championship for now, but hopefully, fingers crossed that things could iron out and WWE start treating the tag division with some respect. I'm giving this match a big stretch. Thank you so much for joining in for another weekly review, and I have to say, I loved seeing all the Ring the Bell family, a lot more than I thought I would, at DragCon in LA. It was absolutely amazing seeing all of Rito's faces. I loved it. So I got to interview Victoria there with some new formats, so that interview will be coming out in a month or so. I know that you guys are talking about the Cat interview, the Christy Hemme interview. I know that's still in my hard drive. I just finished my big documentary in collaboration with this theater company, Collaboration, which just screened in theater, which was just a huge 90-minute documentary project I had to finish. That really took a lot of my time. I really apologize. So those interviews will be slowly coming out. I will start editing them. I'm so sorry about that. By the way, if you want to follow me, you can find me at DShin on Instagram and Ring the Bell DS on Twitter, and I'll see you next week. Bye!